Hey there, folks. Before we dive in, just a quick reminder. If you want to stay up to date with stories like this, make sure to follow S News. And if you like what you see, support us by subscribing, dropping a like, and leaving a comment. It really helps us keep going. Go. The United States has announced it seized a massive shipment of weapons that was on its way from Iran to Yemen. And the contents? Shocking, honestly. We're talking missiles, warheads and ammunition smuggled by sea to a rebel group in Yemen. Western media immediately praised the move, calling it a win in the fight against Iranian arms smuggling. Now, this may seem like a major blow to Iran, but here's the catch. It's just a fraction of the weapons that actually made it through. The rest has helped turn the Houthis into one of the most feared forces in the Red Sea. And what the Houthis have isn't just a small stash. There's a whole underground alliance backing them. They're not just sending weapons, they're building systems, fortifying positions, and setting up an almost untouchable proxy war network. In truth, this seizure only proves how big, complex, and hard to stop this war has become. But here's the big question. Why the Houthis? Why would such a powerful alliance pour so much money and effort into just another militia? To answer that, you have to start with one key fact. Who are Iran's most active proxies today, and why have they become the main focus? Here's the hard truth. Iran's so-called axis of resistance took some serious hits recently. After the death of Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah, considered Iran's right-hand man in Lebanon, and the collapse of the Assad regime in Syria, Iran's influence through those proxies weakened dramatically. Now, only one name still stands strong. The Houthis. These aren't just rebels in Yemen. They're Iran's last proxy force still fighting actively. More importantly, they're still launching attacks on Israel. For the Houthis, hitting commercial ships in the Red Sea isn't just about military strategy. It's a symbolic act of resistance, showing solidarity with Gaza. It's an ideological war, part of what they claim is their fight to defend Palestine. And Iran gets that. Despite having its power curbed, Iran keeps pushing forward, sending more weapons, more ammo, and keeping the Houthis alive as the one proxy still capable of shaking regional stability. But here's the twist. Not all the weapons reached them. Some were intercepted, this time by Yemen's national resistance forces, a militia that actually fights other militias. Reports say this group isn't just a local player. They're backed directly by the US, Israel, and Saudi Arabia. So no, this isn't just about stopping one smuggling operation. It's about a full-scale power struggle. The Houthis have now become the last active battlefield for proxy warfare, one where actual fighting is still going on. And the fact that they can now disrupt shipping in the Red Sea and threaten Israeli vessels from hundreds of kilometers away shows they've evolved far beyond guerrilla warfare. They now have a weapons arsenal on par with what a small state might hold. Here's what was in the intercepted shipment. Over 750 tons of military gear were pulled from the sea, not just bullets and random rockets. These were advanced battlefield-level weapons. Let's break them down. Fajr 2C missile, a medium-range surface-to-air missile made in Iran. This is the same type suspected of shooting down a US MQ-9 Reaper drone. Sajil cruise missile, still somewhat mysterious but believed to have a 180-kilometer range and a 100-kilogram warhead. Built to hit large ships, one strike could disable an oil tanker. Jadir missile, Iran's version of China's C-802 missile, radar-guided with a 300-kilometer range. Ideal for hitting sea targets from Yemen's coast. Manufactured by HTI. KM-118 missile, a short-range ballistic missile targeting ships. Known as Cow, it's lightweight but deadly in narrow seas like the Red Sea. Portable radar systems for ground and air surveillance. 358 air-to-air missile, particularly concerning to US intelligence. This Iranian-made missile is suspected of downing dozens of American drones in Iran and Syria. This shipment wasn't just a one-off delivery, it was a full proxy war upgrade kit. With this gear, the Houthis can detect, target and destroy maritime threats from tens to hundreds of kilometers away. Total estimated value of the seized weapons? Between $250 million and $300 million. And what's scarier, that's just what got caught. The rest is already in the field, already in use, ready to fuel the next war in the Red Sea. But don't think Iran is working alone. Behind the scenes, two other major players are involved, China and Russia. While the Houthis aren't officially part of a joint strategy between those three countries, their actions still align with what's long been known as the Axis of Resistance, a network of proxies and militias opposing US and Israeli influence in the Middle East. There's even intelligence backing this. One report claims Russian cargo planes have been secretly flying into Iran loaded with military equipment, some of which is allegedly making its way to Yemen. Weapons have been smuggled through secret land and sea routes. China has also gotten involved, reportedly even providing direct satellite support to the Houthis so they can more accurately track US warships and international targets in the Red Sea. Recently, there were even reports that China fired a laser at a German reconnaissance plane. That's a strong signal. The Eastern Bloc is testing boundaries, and they're clearly not afraid. Meanwhile, Iran has traditionally handled weapons, training and funding through the dark web and covert networks. But now their game has leveled up. They've added a lot of new capabilities. Take the KM-118 missile, for instance, designed specifically to mimic Western tech like America's Coyote 2. So it's not just about delivering weapons, it's about testing them in real-world conflict zones. This alliance is quietly but massively building a new kind of power. And it doesn't stop there. The Houthis' actions have had global consequences. Their attacks on commercial ships have paralyzed Israeli ports, slowed down supply chains and thrown entire regional economies into chaos. Oil prices spiked immediately, insurance premiums for ships skyrocketed, and every country that depends on the Suez route started to feel the pain. But here's the thing. This isn't the first time Iran's been caught sending weapons to the Houthis. Back in February 2025, US Central Command seized a massive cargo ship carrying over 200 weapons packages. It had parts for medium-range ballistic missiles, naval drones, explosives, military-grade comms equipment and anti-tank launchers. It was as if Iran had built a remote-controlled weapons lab. Then in March 2025, Yemeni authorities seized 800 Chinese-made drones at the Sarit border crossing with Oman. That wasn't a random shipment, that was a ready-to-use system fully operational. Go back even further, from 2021 to 2023, and you'll find that the US redirected some of the weapons it had confiscated to Ukraine to help them resist Russian advances. The number? Over 1 million weapons. This means that Iranian-supplied weapons could also end up affecting the war in Ukraine, and Chinese-made drones might even become a threat to NATO ships. Everything is interconnected. One knot of tension can unravel stability across the globe. Yes, the US might take pride in intercepting a single Iranian weapons ship, but if they see that as a victory, they may be misreading the situation entirely, because that one seizure, it's just a drop in the ocean compared to the full volume of weapons that have already been delivered, or are still being smuggled to the Houthis. Most of the weapons are either already in use, scattered across Yemen, or hidden away in secret stockpiles that the US has never found. Behind all of this is a massive, coordinated machine, the China-Russia-Iran axis. They're not just sending weapons, they're creating a system, one that gives the Houthis the ability to survive and keep fighting, even when they're isolated. So this latest seizure isn't proof of success, it's a warning. Proxy wars aren't just behind-the-scenes skirmishes anymore. They're turning into real battlefields, and now they're threatening